Great off season so far. Excited about it. Excited where we're at. Continue to work through it right now, but it's been good.
I meant personally.
Oh yeah.
Got to do anything? Or...
Yeah. No. What did I do this off season? I went down to Florida. That was fun. Never been down there, like that Destin area. That was a good spot. So did that, and that's pretty much it. Been around here.
What's it like year two? How much do things change? Everybody's a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
Can you guys do a little bit more? Or is it just sharpening up your and Nick's offense?
Yeah, I think it's what you said. I think it's sharpening up what we have, and then obviously as coaches, you're always evolving, right? You're always looking at new things, but year two in the system, obviously the communication from the players, from the top down, everything's been really smooth so far, and we're just continuing to build on that right now.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
In Jalen's case, how is he different than the last time you saw him?
You know what? Like we've talked about it before. Like he's just got a relentless effort to be great. And so every approach he takes, right? The off season, he doesn't have an off season. Like he's always on it. He's always thinking about football. We're always talking football day in and day out. And he's continuing to grow as a player, as a leader every single day. And obviously going into year two in the system, like I said, the communication has been great with him in meetings, right? We're not starting from scratch anymore. So I feel really good where he's at right now, and we're continuing to work on that.
You talk a lot about him going into that second year in
Yeah.
the same system, something he hasn't really
Yeah.
had for quite a long time.
Yeah.
What are some of the specific ways that helps him, and have you already noticed the difference?
Yeah, no, I think what you said is right. I mean, I think he said it right. He hasn't been in the same system since high school, right? Dating back to high school. And so just the terminology part, talking through it, right? It's easy to talk in meetings right now. We're having great discussions out on the practice field, just calling plays, getting in and out of the huddle, communicating with the wideouts, all those things, timing, anticipation, working through all those things. It's been really good to see.
Is it evident what he's been working on this offseason, Shane?
Say that again.
Is it evident what he's been working on?
Yeah, you can see, right now, like you're obviously his feet. We're working on his feet right now, the drop, the quickness of it, the timing, and it's starting to show, right? And every year, just like any player, right? You're a young player, and you're trying to get better every single year, every single day, and that's what he's been doing, and it's been really good to see.
What will A.J. Brown bring to this offense?
He's going to bring toughness. This guy, he's relentless now. I mean, when you watch him on film, he's hard to tackle. He's a big body receiver that's very explosive. And then when you see him out on the practice field just running routes on air, you can see the play strength, the explosive ability in and out of breaks, and he just brings a great mindset to that room.
There's always talking about players making a big jump year one to year two. When you look at Kenny Gainwell, especially given the fact he didn't play his final year of college, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what are the expectations for him? What do you see in him?
Well, I think it's the same with any young player, right? Obviously, you want to see a jump in year two, right? You want to see that growth as a runner, as a pass catcher out of the backfield, right? We use them out of the backfield, as you guys know, right, to run routes. And so just to see, like, different leverages, the coverages the defenders are playing on him, just to see that growth and that will be good.
How does A.J. Brown's arrival kind of help Devontae Smith? I mean,
Well, I think it's great. Anytime you can add really good talent on your team, it's going to help everyone around you. I mean, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith. You got two elite receivers on the outside that defenses have to prepare for, so it's going to help.
Shane, who's first up at right guard?
At right guard, we're working through all that stuff right now. Isaac's back, obviously healthy, but he looks good right now, and we'll go from there.
Is Cam Jurgens part of the equation?
Yeah, I think Cam's going to play some center, right, and some guard. We're going to cross-train him there, so we'll see where that goes.
You guys weren't shy about the fact last year that the offense kind of went through Devontae and Dallas in the pass game.
Mm-hmm.
Adding A.J. Brown, what kind of conversations are you guys having as a staff figuring out how the dynamic changes?
Yeah, I think that's a great question you have. I mean, I think with anything, right, you go into game plans, you got three really good players, right, they got to get the ball to. So every game's going to be different, and I always say this, right, there's one football, right, and you got three really good players along with other additions that we have, and so we're working through that every single day, and that'll take place through training camp and going into the season.
Shane, Nick has talked a lot about how he expects to throw the ball more or be more efficient and more effective throwing the ball. What has to go into that to make that happen?
I think that starts, as coaches, right? We got to look at some things too, as well as being more efficient in the pass game. How can we get easy completions, right? And then I think it's just repetition over and over again, right? How can we get our guys in the best position to make plays and put Jalen in the best position to do that?
One of the things that Jalen had talked about when we spoke to him a few weeks ago was improving his flexibility.
as a quarterback, how important it is to have that in terms of how you throw the ball? And can you, as a former quarterback, can you explain a little bit?
Yeah, I think maybe like hip flexibility, all those different things, right? Because when you throw, right, obviously you have the arm, right, but a lot of stuff takes place in the lower half, right? It's all about your feet. It's all about your base. So improving that, right, the base, right, your lower half and the strength of, loading off your back foot, right? I mean, when you watch boxers, right, they're loaded on their back foot and they're punching, right? And that's the same as a quarterback, right? You want to stay loaded on your back foot when you're delivering the ball and getting your target line where it needs to be. And he's been doing a nice job of that so far.
Where were you when the A.J. Brown trade went down?
Shoot, I was upstairs. I was upstairs in the building right here. It was exciting to get that done. Howie did a hell of a job getting that trade done. So we're excited to have him.
What's the first thought that goes through your mind when that happens?
We got a really good player. A really good player.
How well is Jalen working in terms of film study and also working on chemistry with his receivers?
That's a great question. He's always in the film room. That's one of his assets, right? He's relentless in that regard, is in the film room and studying, right, our opponents, little different coverage techniques, right, at fronts, all those different things. And then obviously the chemistry with the wideouts, right? It's taking place right now in OTAs, and it's probably going to continue over the summer. I'm sure he'll get with those guys in the summer to do some things. But that thing's always critical, right? The timing, right? The chemistry with those guys, that's how it builds, right? The chemistry is huge, and so we're just working through that every day.
Do you ever have to hold him back? Everyone talks about how hard he works and there's no off season and all that. Do you have to ever say, just get away from him for a day or two?
You know what? I'm sure he does, maybe for a day. But you know what? You never want to turn it off, because I think the greatest players, regardless of what sport it is, they're never fully turned off. They're always thinking about it. And if you're always thinking about it, all right, that's what separates you from good and great.
Last year you introduced with Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert at tight end position.
Yeah.
Now you have Dallas being the vet guy in that room. What's his transition been like to doing that, and how's he performed in minicamps?
Yeah, Dallas has been great. Obviously, like you said, he's a veteran player, so it's good to see him take the young guys under his wings on the practice field, in the meeting rooms. I love everything about Dallas. He's what you want in a football player, and he brings that mindset every day to work.
As far as the tight end group goes, you added Calcaterra.
Yeah.
Potentially bringing, I don't know if you cut this on Tyree Jackson, where he stands.
Yeah. So Grant, starting with Grant, Grant will be a good addition for us. He had a hell of a career at Oklahoma. I know he took the year off, and then at SMU he came back and made some plays in the pass game again. So great addition that we got him. And then obviously Jack Stoll's coming along. He's continuing to improve every single day as a pass catcher. Noah, he's been a pleasure too. He's getting better. And then Tyree's coming along as well. So it's a good group. Our tight end coach, Jason Michael, does a really good job with those guys.
You talked about improving the passing offense, about doing a little bit better with these easier passes.
Yeah.
I'd asked Nick this question a few weeks ago. I don't know if you saw it after the playoff loss. Troy Aikman had been publicly critical of teams, and he mentioned the Eagles, and just maybe trying to scheme too much guys open versus just running routes where just guys can just get open on their own. Is that something that you had heard, and is that something that you guys kind of noticed on self-reflection after the season? And will A.J. Brown allow you to do more of that because he can just kind of beat guys one-on-one?
Yeah, I didn't hear that. I think it's just more us, right? We were just looking at what we were doing, and we got to improve in that area. I believe we were 12th in the NFL at 6.9 yards attempt, which is good. We want to be in the top 10. And we want to continue to improve. And however we need to do that as coaches and as players, we're going to do that.
Shane, curious about the offseason. You have a limited time with the players, and then everybody goes off and
Yeah.
they work with specialized coaches. What's kind of the instruction from the coaching staff when guys are out there doing the work with whether it's offensive line masterminds or tight end university or Jalen working out in Southern California? What's kind of the mindset of the coaching staff?
Well, I think most guys, right, coaches, right, during this time, we talk to those players like, hey, what's your routine, right? What's your routine? Because a lot of veterans have routines in the offseason. And I think some of the young guys, right, same, it's talking with Devontae, he's a second-year player. I talked to him yesterday about what's your routine. And all these guys have a routine. Right? Some guys are in different spots, but they all have a routine, so they make sure they're in tip-top shape when they come back to work, start training camp. So I'm not worried about that. Those guys are professionals, and they'll be ready to go when come training camp.
Shane, this time of year is often a time for reps for down the depth chart players. You guys have fewer practices than other teams. How do you compensate for that, for those down the depth chart guys?
Yeah, you know what? I think really right now we're focused on the fundamentals and the details of everything we do right now, really working on the fundamentals. And I think that starts in the meeting room, right? And then it goes, right, with the coaches onto the practice field, right? And if we can be really good at those fundamentals and details, right, the reps will take care of itself into training camp.
They said late last season that one of the changes that benefited the offense was having you call plays directly to Jalen. Obviously, we still involved with that.
Yeah.
Can you explain how that was handled, and
yeah,
how do you think it will be?
Yeah, I think last year, right, we were a new staff, right, and we were evolving as an offense, right, and so as the season got going on, I ended up taking over more of the play calling mid-season, and then again, like Nick has a stamp on every single thing we do. So in the meeting rooms, he has a stamp on everything we do, right? Every play that's on that call sheet, right, he makes sure it's clear, justified, boom, and we're good to go. So going forward, I'll be calling the plays, next year, and we'll go from there.
So when Jalen talks about having the same play caller 2 years in a row,
yeah,
is that you?
Yeah, like I said, I'll be calling the plays, but it is a complete group effort. It's a complete group effort from the top down, right? It starts with Nick as the head coach. He does a hell of a job game planning, and then we go from there. And then on game day, like, he's the head coach, and if he wants something called, he'll tell me, and I'll get it called.
Clarify the process a little bit, because it feels a little convoluted to me. So is there like a menu, like a short menu of plays you're picking from, like kind of like a multiple choice kind of thing, and then
yeah,
picking that? Is that how it works, or do you have the full menu?
Yeah. So, anyways, like we have a system, right? We have an openers, right? We go through the third downs. We go through everything we do, right? Week in and week out. So we're prepared for the game. So once the game starts, right, we're kind of on the same page. And then in between series, just like every team probably does around the league, right? You talk through the next series of plays. Hey, here's what we're going to go with. Boom, boom, boom. Be ready for this in this situation, just so all the coaches are on the same page.
And does Jalen being in the offense for a second year give him a little bit more input into what those plays are going to be?
Yeah, I think with anything that obviously when you're a young player, you're growing, right? You're growing and you're seeing, and you're in the offense for their second year, right? And then you're going to have more say in what you like, what you don't like, and then what he's good at. We got to put him in those positions.
How much would you say you and Nick are in lockstep as far as your vision for the offense? And I would think to be able to call plays almost like jointly like that.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt about it. And I think it goes back to when me and Nick worked in San Diego, right? We worked together for 4 years in San Diego, and then obviously we had a couple years away, but the system and the terminology was the same. And so to be on the same page and think alike, it makes it really smooth.
You guys proved to be pretty ground heavy last season. What's sort of your vision for how the offense will look this year?
Yeah, I think that evolves every game. I think every game's different, right? Some games you might have to throw it a ton. Some games you might have to run it. But if you can be balanced, right, but be aggressive, it should be good for us.
Couple more.
Is Jalen the type of quarterback you can do that with?
Yeah. Jalen, absolutely. He's making great strides, and that's what we're working on every day. He's going into his third year in the NFL. He made great strides last year. You saw it as the season went on, and we hope to continue to do that this year.
We know about Jalen Riker's on-field struggles. He's had some off-field issues as well with close family members and friends passing away. How's he looked this spring coming back?
He's explosive. I mean, that's one of his biggest assets. He's an explosive player. He's still got that ability to run routes and be fast and strong and physical. And, again, we're just continuing to improve on those things every single day.